In my personal collection of memorabilia, there is a weather-worn piece of paper, just the right size to carry in one's wallet. It is a certificate of Neptune, not the large certificate of which I have a couple that sailors would frame and hang on their office or den walls. This one is more personal, and I like to think that it probably sat in this sailor's wallet and went with him to many places during and after the war. The card is beaten, tattered, but the name Harry C. Werkema is still legible. From what I can tell, Harry C. Werkema was born on the 23rd of January, 1926, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, as a 1930s census has his name as living there. At the outbreak of war in the Pacific, he would have been 15 years old, and it appears that he enlisted as soon as he was eligible to do so on the 17th of August, 1943, in Detroit, Michigan. He was enlisted into the U.S. Navy Reserves, and by the 21st of November found himself transferred on to the escort carrier USS Laffey, setting sail from San Diego on the 22nd of November, 1943, with the rank of Seaman Second Class V6. V6 was a classification for general service in the U.S. Naval Reserve during World War II, which appears to encompass anything from carpenters to firefighters and everything in between and on the outside as well. Apparently, most World War II U.S. Navy enlisted men were drafted into the Naval Reserve under the V6 program, or Navy Enlisted Reserve General Duties. The Laffey was laid down on July 18, 1941, as a civilian ship under the name Steel Architect, and was acquired by the Navy on February 8, 1942. Whereupon she was converted to an aircraft carrier of the Bogue class at the Bremerton Navy Yard and classified as an aircraft escort vessel and designated AVG-12. Then she was reclassified as Auxiliary Aircraft Carrier ACV-12 in August of 1942 before her final escort carrier designation and hull number CVE-12 was arrived at on July 15, 1943. It was this designation that Harry Werkema would have known her by. With a top speed of 16.5 knots, the Laffey would make voyages supplying replacement planes and pilots where needed in the Pacific Theater. On February 29th, the Laffey crossed the equator with Harry C. Werkema on board, where Davy Jones in King Neptune's court would have presided over the ceremony of turning pollywogs into shellbacks, sailors worthy of King Neptune himself. Among other notable things that Mr. Werkema would have seen was the return trip of the Laffey from Saipan during the month of July 1944, her deck laden with 13 captured Japanese Zeeks and 1 Kate, along with 37 aircraft engines formerly property of the Japanese Armed Forces. On March 18th, the crew set for a photo celebrating having sailed 200,000 miles in the Laffey. It appears that Harry C. Werkema transferred off the Laffey in April of that year, possibly to Naval Air Station San Diego, as his name does not appear on the Laffey's list of sailors that embark from San Diego later that month. And, unfortunately, he is not one of the individuals in this photo. Later listings for April 1944 have him showing up on the USS Thornton AVD-11, a Clemson-class destroyer that had been converted to a seaplane tender in 1940. Given Harry Werkema's service time, he may have been on the Thornton when she collided with both the USS Ashtabula AO-51 and USS Escalante AO-70 on the 5th of April 1945. Shortly thereafter, the Thornton was decommissioned and left on a reef. Harry C. Werkema was discharged from the United States Navy on August 11, 1946, but apparently not before re-enlisting on April 12, 1946. He died in his hometown of Grand Rapids, Michigan on the 27th of January, 2000. He had been a district commander of the AMVETS Post number 126 and a member of the American Legion Post number 179. If any family members come across this video and would be willing to discuss Harry C. Werkema and his service and experiences, please feel free to contact me through the comment section of this video. Thank you.